we actually started with monitoring anaerobic digesters. So when we first started our commercial deployments nearly 4 years ago, it was with the anaerobic digestion industry in mind. And that's because certainly high strength, high performing anaerobic digesters require really complex microbial communities to all be working together to take these complex organics, break them down to VFA, short chain, carbon-based molecules, and then for the methanogenic communities to come in and convert those into methane, biogas, renewable energy. The challenge is operators who are managing these digesters have little to no information in situ directly from the reactors to actually tell them, oh, wait a second, my biomass is actually struggling or my biomass is doing well. They tend to underload their digesters, which means that there's a massive safety factor. And it means that invariably they're just not putting as much food, they're not putting as much organics through their digesters as they could do, which means they're not generating as much biogas as they could be generating. We're always looking to work with those clients who are operating digesters that want to have a much better feel for what's coming into their digester, and those especially who are looking to push a little bit more and try and think, okay, well, can I put more food into this? Can I generate a little bit more biogas? With the Bakerview Eco Dairy in Abbotsford in British Columbia, we just have a fantastic partner. So we have Chris Bush there on the right. He showed me what was in effect just an ISO container at a farm. And his vision was, this ISO container and all of the reactors that are inside in this, we're going to use it as a test bed to digitize the anaerobic digestion process. As we put food in and different levels of food, what's going to happen through the process? That was 2 years ago. To be honest, you're never sure if these things are actually going to come through or not. So we literally have duplicate processes running in parallel. They're feeding different feedstocks into these digesters, co-digesting, blending different feedstocks together. We're converting that biological activity into a digital signal so they can literally see, as they make these changes, the impact it has through the process. The blue line indicates how active the bugs are, how much food they're consuming. So you can see the first load they took, and we've highlighted in red there. It was a feedstock that they had left at the facility for maybe a week. But they thought, okay, well, it's carbon. It can't change that much over the week where it's just sitting there before putting into these digesters. But then you get to see, actually, it's very different, because the next week they actually took a fresh load of what they thought was the same waste. And you see how it's just completely dramatically different from the biomass, how they are responding to that food. In this case, the blue line on the top is the response from the biomass. From our signal, and the orange is the biogas production. So you can see it's really interesting. A lot of the time, you give bugs more food, they produce more biogas. We have what for us is the really interesting part, when you have biogas changing and the microbial activity not changing. And being able to pick up those is really interesting. Certainly if you have microbial activity going up, but the biogas production going down, that's a massive flag for operators. In this case, we understand that the methanogenic populations are really struggling. That's an alarm for operators to say, okay, well, whatever went into the digester at this time is a worry, because we have base microbes who consume VFA having much more activity. It's indicative of a VFA buildup, acidogenesis in the reactor, and biogas production going down. That's certainly an alarm for operators that would then warrant them making decisions about stopping loading, reducing loading, and that's what we do. So it's digitizing how the bugs are performing in the reactors and really making operators a lot smarter about what's going into their digesters and how they can maximize operations.